What if 2026 isn't just another year, but the year everything changes? The year you finally stop surviving and start commanding life on your own terms. No more waiting, no more excuses. This is where clarity replaces chaos. Fear turns into power, and your future bends to your will. If you want 2026 to become your turning point, not your repeat, then don't look away. This is where it begins. Before we begin, take a moment to slow down. And if you're someone who values depth over noise, tap like. It helps YouTube send you more of what actually grows your mind. Introduction. What if this hour is the hinge of your financial life? If one decision now tilts the next decade? You don't need more time. You need direction, a clean signal, and inner command. Every day of delay compounds the cost. Money isn't myth. It's a system that obeys clarity, courage, and precision. It flows to respect and structure, not hesitation or self-doubt. Starting today, you stop chasing money and make money orbit you. Success isn't a lottery, it's a language. The wealthy became fluent in belief, discipline, and execution. Most wait for the world to change. The prepared change their state and meet the world with direction. This audiobook is your field manual. You'll learn the mindset, habits, and decisions that shift you from drift to direction, confusion to command, debt to design. So 2026 is a beginning, not a repeat. Belief is architecture. You cannot outperform your self-image. Neuroplastic repetition rewires behavior and results. Energy matters too. Thoughts and emotions emit signals your body can measure. When belief and behavior align, you create coherence. Calm, decisive, compelling. People feel it. Opportunities stick to it. What looks like luck is coherence meeting timing. Treat actions as cosmic instructions. Every choice broadcasts a message. I track and plan, invites trust. I ignore and avoid invites scarcity. Send clear signals. Keep promises to yourself. Document progress. Build systems that run when motivation dips. The universe doesn't reward indecision, it mirrors conviction. Convert fear into fuel. Biologically, fear and excitement share chemistry. Story makes the difference. Translate the surge as readiness and move. Use controlled exposure, small repeated steps into uncertainty to expand your risk capacity without recklessness. Emotional stability sharpens decisions and compounds results. Discipline becomes your quiet superpower. Motivation fades. Structure remains. Automate saving, investing, and learning, so life exits chance and enters design. Build an environment that protects focus. In a noisy world, concentration is competitive advantage and spiritual hygiene. Your skill set is the primary asset. Titles shift. Rare ability endures. Stack high-value skills. Communication analysis. Negotiation decision under uncertainty, and leverage technology. The market pays for solutions delivered with speed and reliability. Reframe failure as data. Audit without shame. Extract rules, codify safeguards. Regret becomes curriculum. When others panic, you pause. When they seek guarantees, you seek information. When they stop, you adjust. You're not here to hope. You're here to command. Write a measurable, energetic vision. Back it with proof. Align thought, emotion, and action until the world must respond. Let 2026 mark the year you stop outsourcing destiny. Begin now. The field is listening. The signal is yours to send. Chapter 1. Believe before you see. Everything begins in the unseen. Every fortune, every empire, every revolution in a person's life was first a thought held with conviction long before it became visible. When you believe, you activate the internal architecture that supports achievement. When you doubt, you dismantle it before it has a chance to form. Belief is not a motivational slogan. It is the seed code of reality. You live inside a universe that mirrors your dominant frequency. The thoughts you repeat daily become electromagnetic patterns that shape the quality of your decisions, your emotional tone, and the chances that seem to appear. That is why the first step in building wealth is not learning how to earn more, but learning how to believe deeper. A mind trained in conviction perceives opportunities that a fearful mind cannot see. Your world doesn't change when you make money. It changes when you accept completely that you are capable of handling abundance without losing your center. Neuroscience calls this neuroplastic reprogramming. Repeated affirmations create new synaptic networks that replace old ones built on scarcity and self-doubt. Each time you tell yourself, "I am capable of achieving immense financial success," you are not lying. You are instructing your biology to prepare for expansion. The brain follows repetition. The nervous system responds to tone. Say it with calm authority, and your body begins to organize itself around that command. This is not superstition. It is science, wrapped in intention. Stand before a mirror and look directly into your own eyes. Feel the discomfort, because it is the echo of old programming resisting collapse. Speak your new truth out loud. I am worthy of wealth. I am safe with money. I am expanding every day. The moment you feel even a small shift in your chest, a softening, a breath, a spark, that is the old code dissolving. The practice is simple but not easy. You must repeat until the new belief becomes reflex. Alongside this mental discipline, keep a proof journal. Each day, record one piece of evidence that you are moving forward an unnecessary purchase. You avoided an article you read about, investing a conversation that taught you something valuable. These fragments of proof accumulate like bricks. One day, you will open that journal and see, not wishes, but evidence of evolution. Proof silences the inner critic more effectively than any pep talk. When the voice of fear whispers, "You're not changing fast enough," you will have written data saying otherwise. From a spiritual perspective, belief is an act of energetic calibration. Every time you choose faith over fear, your vibration rises and life reorganizes around that higher signal. The field of potential, the invisible network that connects all outcomes, responds most strongly to clarity. Doubt emits static. Conviction emits coherence. The coherent signal is what draws aligned people, timing, and resources into your path. You do not chase these things. You become a frequency they cannot ignore. Think of belief as light and doubt as shadow. The light does not fight the shadow. It simply shines, and the shadow dissolves. The same is true for your inner world. You do not need to kill fear or erase insecurity. You need to hold your belief strongly enough that uncertainty loses definition. When you decide that you are the architect of your financial destiny, your actions begin to reflect precision. Your tone changes, your posture shifts, your language upgrades. People sense the difference before you say a word. Biologically, belief releases dopamine and endorphins, chemicals that fuel focus and motivation. Spiritually, it sends a signal that you are aligned with your own potential. The combination of those two forces, chemical and cosmic, creates momentum that feels like luck, but is really synchronization. Every self-made millionaire began with a belief stronger than their circumstances. They acted as if they already deserved success, and eventually, the outer world conformed to that self-image. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. Arrogance says, "I am better than others." Alignment says, I am equal to the opportunity that life is offering me. The first divides you from the world. The second connects you to it. If you ever find yourself slipping back into doubt, pause and breathe. Ask, what story am I believing right now? Then rewrite it immediately. Replace, I never succeed with, I am learning to master success. Replace, I can't afford it with, I'm finding smarter ways to afford it. Words are not decoration. They are commands to the subconscious. Each replacement weakens the old pattern and strengthens the new. Over time, belief becomes a habit of perception. You stop asking whether something is possible and start asking how it can be made real. You shift from worry to curiosity, from reaction to creation. That shift is the true beginning of financial freedom, because money is drawn to clarity and confidence the way plants are drawn to light. Remember, every affirmation you repeat, every action you take, every thought you choose is part of a larger conversation between you and the universe. The question is no longer, can I do this? The real question is, how powerful am I willing to believe I am? Your belief is the first currency. It costs nothing to develop and pays dividends that compound forever. Guard it as your greatest asset. Feed it daily. Defend it from the noise of the world, because when you finally believe before you see, the universe will make sure that what you believe is what you begin to see. Chapter 2. Shatter your poverty. Programming. The greatest barrier between you and wealth is not money itself. It is the silent script running in your subconscious mind. That script was written long before you made your first financial decision. It was written by voices, by examples, by fears that were never yours to keep. To change your financial destiny, you must first expose the programming that has quietly directed it. Most people are not poor because they lack opportunity. They are poor because they have inherited mental software built on scarcity. This programming whispers, there's never enough. Rich people are selfish. Money changes people. I'm not good with numbers. I don't deserve abundance. Each sentence may seem harmless, but together they form a powerful operating system that keeps you trapped in survival mode. To break this loop, you must become a detective of your own mind. Write down the exact words that echo when you think about bills, debt, or risk. Do not judge them. Observe them. These are fragments of your financial DNA. Once visible, they lose the protection of invisibility. Awareness is the first act of liberation. You cannot fix what hides in the dark. Psychologically, these beliefs reside in the limbic system, the emotional center of the brain that governs instinct and memory. Spiritually, they vibrate at frequencies of fear, guilt, and shame, the lowest states of human energy. That is why scarcity feels heavy. It drags your vibration downward, making it impossible for abundance to attach. The goal is not to hate that part of yourself, but to reprogram it. You are not deleting an enemy. You are upgrading an outdated system. Begin with questioning. For every limiting belief, ask 3 questions. Is this true? Who taught me this? What evidence exists that contradicts it? The mind is lazy until challenged. When you interrogate a belief, you break the hypnosis. For example, the phrase, "I'm bad with money," has probably never been tested. Find one counterexample. One day, you budgeted well saved, wisely made a smart purchase, and you begin to build a new identity. I am learning to master money. Repetition of that truth rewires your neurons, shifting identity from victim to creator. From a quantum perspective, beliefs are vibrational templates. Each one sends instructions to the field of potential, determining what kinds of events resonate with your signal. A person vibrating at not enough unconsciously repels opportunities, partnerships, and investments that could elevate them. A person vibrating at "I am expanding" becomes magnetic. The universe does not reward the desperate. It responds to the decisive. Once you understand this, money stops being emotional chaos and becomes energetic communication. Every thought is a transaction. Every action is an investment in a future frequency. You either invest in limitation or in liberation. Choose consciously. Create a daily ritual to reprogram your inner dialogue. Every morning say aloud, "I release every story of lack that is not mine. I am open to abundance. Money is energy, and I direct it with wisdom." Write it, speak it, feel it. The emotion is crucial, because emotion is what imprints the subconscious. Thought is the blueprint. Feeling is the construction crew. As you rebuild, adjust your environment. Physical cues reinforce mental codes. Keep your workspace orderly. Clutter mirrors confusion. Surround yourself with content and people who speak the language of expansion, not complaint. Energy is contagious. Choose wisely whose frequencies you let near yours. Take small practical steps that prove your new identity in motion. Track your spending for clarity. Save even a symbolic amount each week to build trust with yourself. Each responsible act is evidence that you are no longer the same person who believed in scarcity. Evidence transforms belief faster than theory. Forgive the past. Many people cling to guilt about financial mistakes and sabotage their own progress because they feel unworthy of another chance. Guilt vibrates at the same frequency as fear. It blocks flow. Replace guilt with gratitude. Thank every past mistake for teaching you what confusion costs. Bless it and release it. Emotional forgiveness clears the energetic pipeline for new flow. Remember this law: the subconscious mind is neutral. It does not care whether it serves limitation or liberation. It simply obeys repetition. The stories you rehearse become the world you live in. Speak abundance with discipline until it becomes your default language. And finally, understand the spiritual truth. Poverty is not a punishment, but it is a lesson. Its purpose is to reveal the contrast that will awaken your command. Once the lesson is learned, you are no longer required to repeat it. From this moment, decide to stop negotiating with your own limitations. Rebuild your internal economy with new sentences, new rituals, new evidence. The external world will follow because it has no choice. It is only responding to your signal. You are not the sum of your financial history. You are the architect of your energetic future. Break the old code, rewrite the new one, and the frequency of abundance will find you, recognize you, and stay. You've stayed with the message this long. That says something about your focus. Subscribe if you're building that kind of strength intentionally. Chapter 3. Command your wealth. Duty, not dream. Wealth is not a wish. It is a command. It is not an ethereal concept reserved for the lucky few. It is a disciplined system built from thought energy and consistent execution. The moment you stop treating your financial goals as fantasies and start treating them as obligations to your potential, the universe begins to take you seriously. You are not here to hope for money. You are here to govern it. The distinction is everything. Hoping is passive vibration. Commanding is active alignment. In a universe run by cause and effect, those who declare with action are rewarded. Those who wait are quietly replaced by those who move. From a scientific view, personal responsibility rewires the brain's reward network. Every time you take ownership, no excuses, no blame, your prefrontal cortex strengthens. You think longer term, regulate emotion, and plan with clarity. Spiritually, that same act of ownership raises your frequency to match the vibration of order. Money is an expression of order. It will not stay where chaos reigns. Begin here. Stop outsourcing your financial fate. The market will fluctuate. Jobs will shift, technology will evolve. But your discipline, clarity, and direction must remain constant. Treat your financial life like a living organism that requires daily nourishment. Track your inputs. Measure your growth, prune what drains energy. Attention is love, and what you love expands. To command wealth, first define it. Write it out with precision, not just numbers, but sensations. What does financial peace feel like in your body? What does abundance sound like in your home? Anchor the goal in sensory clarity, because the subconscious mind understands emotion better than logic. When you can feel the reality before you live it, you have already begun to manifest it into form. Now translate that vision into structure. Divide your goal into micro-actions, saving percentages, learning sessions, skill upgrades, debt repayments, income expansions. Each micro-action is a signal to the quantum field saying, I am ready. Discipline converts energy into evidence. The universe respects evidence. Action kills anxiety. The moment you take a step, any step, you collapse the fog of indecision. The wealthiest individuals in the world are not those who never feel fear. They are those who move while fear is still present. They have trained their nervous systems to act while uncertain, to execute before comfort. Remember, motion precedes motivation. Waiting to feel ready is the most expensive delay in human history. From a cosmic perspective, each decision you make imprints a new trajectory on your timeline. Every act of commitment is a command that reshapes probability. To act decisively is to instruct reality. When you choose to save, to invest, to learn to negotiate, you are writing new equations into your destiny, equations that multiply, compound, and eventually rewrite the math of your entire life. Financial command also demands emotional maturity. You must separate your self-worth from temporary results. The market is not judging you. It is mirroring you. When you remain centered in both profit and loss, you broadcast stability. Stability attracts scale. Chaos attracts collapse. Learn to pause before reacting, to study before spending, to breathe before buying. Emotional neutrality is not coldness. It is clarity. It is wealth consciousness in its purest form. Time, too, is a form of currency. Guard it. Replace noise with knowledge consumption, with creation. The hours you trade for entertainment are hours that could build freedom. The disciplined are not joyless. They simply find joy in progress. Every focused hour compounds like interest. Every wasted one drains momentum. Ask yourself daily, is this choice compounding or consuming my future? As you move deeper into 2026, remember that energy flows where direction lives. People who command their finances do not do more. They do precisely what matters. They automate what can be automated, delegate what can be delegated, and focus their creative power on leverage, on actions that multiply impact, instead of maintaining survival. Wealth is built quietly. It grows in the invisible hours when no one is watching, when you choose structure over impulse, purpose over distraction. That repetition creates a magnetic rhythm. The world begins to sense your seriousness, and the right opportunities start appearing not by accident, but by alignment. Finally, see your financial duty as sacred. Not because money defines your worth, but because it magnifies your influence. When you command your wealth, you command your freedom, your ability to give, create rest, and contribute without constraint. Discipline is not punishment. It is devotion to your potential. You are not waiting for miracles. You are the miracle that happens when belief meets structure, when energy meets execution. Stand up to your life like a leader of an empire under construction. Your empire does not need permission. It needs precision. Your financial destiny is not postponed. It is waiting for your command. The question is no longer, can I do this? The question is, will I choose to command what I already contain? The moment you decide, the world begins to reorganize around that decision. Command your wealth, not tomorrow, not someday, today. Because duty ignored becomes destiny delayed, and destiny delayed becomes power denied. Chapter 4. Make fear your fuel, not your cage. Fear is not your enemy. It is your compass. It points toward the edges of your expansion. Every time fear rises within you, it marks the boundary between your current identity and the greater version of yourself, waiting to emerge. You can either let that feeling shrink your actions, or you can use it as ignition to propel you into new territory. The truth is that fear and excitement are the same energy wearing different masks. Biologically, they share the same chemistry: adrenaline, cortisol, and accelerated heartbeat. The body is simply saying, something important is about to happen. It is your mind that decides whether that surge means danger or discovery. The wealthy, the visionaries, the builders of empires, they feel fear just as you do. The difference is translation. They read it as readiness. They move while their pulse races. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear. It is motion, in spite of it. In ancient times, fear kept our ancestors alive. Today, it keeps us small. It used to protect us from predators. Now, it protects us from growth. That same instinct that once shouted, "Run," now whispers, "Wait." It tells you to delay the call, to postpone the launch, to avoid the risk. But survival and success operate on opposite frequencies. What protects comfort kills evolution. The spiritual path of financial mastery requires you to reinterpret fear as raw creative voltage, a current that can be harnessed rather than resisted. Next time fear arises, do not fight it. Breathe into it. Feel its electricity. Say to yourself, "This is energy preparing me to rise." When you label fear as power instead of paralysis, your nervous system recalibrates. The chemical storm becomes fuel for focus. Elite performers in sports, business, and art all train this response. They use fear as acceleration, channeling the surge into concentration, clarity, and presence. In the quantum field, fear is friction. It tests the strength of your vibration. Each time you move through it, your signal becomes stronger, clearer, more magnetic. The universe rewards motion. Hesitation sends mixed frequencies. Action sends coherence. When you face a bold decision, an investment, a career leap, a conversation that could change everything, remember, this fear is not a stop sign. It is the final test before breakthrough. Start small, but start now. Make one uncomfortable move each day. A call you've been postponing, an email you fear sending, a negotiation you've avoided. Each act becomes an energetic recalibration. With every repetition, the unknown becomes familiar, and the familiar becomes mastery. You are teaching your subconscious that discomfort is safe, and that progress requires pressure. You must also learn to separate real danger from emotional discomfort. The ego's job is to keep you safe, but safety and stagnation often look identical. Ask yourself, is this fear protecting my life or protecting my limits? When you see that most fears are boundaries of identity, not warnings of doom, you'll stop retreating. The line between fear and growth becomes the path itself. Remember, every great achievement hides behind a trembling hand. Those who reach their potential simply refused to let trembling decide their trajectory. They walked with shaking legs until the shaking stopped. They acted until confidence caught up. That is how courage grows, through exposure, not avoidance. From a scientific lens, each time you confront fear and succeed, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the chemistry of triumph. Spiritually, your energy field expands, your capacity for uncertainty widens. The same event that once overwhelmed you becomes effortless because you have grown larger than the fear that created it. This is evolution, measured not in years, but in frequency. Failure, too, must be redefined. It is not proof of inadequacy, it is proof of engagement. To fail is to have tried while others waited. The financially fearless know that loss is tuition. Every setback refines intuition, strengthens emotional endurance, and clarifies judgment. Regret fades, but data remains. Learn from it, record it, transform it into wisdom that guides your next risk. You cannot eliminate fear, but you can master its rhythm. Think of it as a drumbeat calling you forward. Each thump means you are alive, you are growing, you are about to cross into more. When you learn to dance to that rhythm, fear becomes your most loyal ally. It sharpens your instincts, humbles your ego, and fuels your movement. When you sense fear tightening your chest, whisper, "This is energy. I am ready." Then act. Send the message, make the offer, take the leap. The moment you move, the field shifts. The fear dissolves because it has fulfilled its purpose. It awakened you. Understand this truth: the universe will never remove fear from your journey. It will only elevate the level of courage required to reach the next stage. Each challenge demands a stronger vibration, and fear is the signal that your frequency is about to rise. So thank it. Use it. Convert it. Let fear become your teacher, your guide, your fire. Because those who fear less do not achieve more. They simply channel their fear into motion. On the other side of every trembling decision lies freedom. Not the fragile kind born from avoidance, but the unshakable kind forged in courage. Step forward. Feel the pulse. Walk with it. Fear is not your cage. It is your countdown to greatness. Chapter 5. Forge an unbreakable financial character. Discipline is the quiet force behind every visible success. It is the power that builds when motivation disappears, the structure that stands when emotion collapses. If belief is the blueprint and fear is the test, then discipline is the construction crew, the steady rhythm that turns intention into empire. Motivation burns bright, but brief. It's a matchstick in the storm. Discipline is the fire that endures through rain, wind, and doubt. It does not ask how you feel, it asks what you have committed to. The financially powerful are not driven by moods, they are driven by systems. They understand that consistency is the most advanced form of intelligence. To forge financial character, begin with one rule. Your habits must obey your vision, not your emotions. Every decision you make, what you buy, how you spend time, what you learn, either fortifies or fractures your future. The undisciplined follow impulse. The disciplined follow alignment. Each act of restraint is not a sacrifice. It is an investment in sovereignty. On a biological level, discipline reshapes your brain's circuitry. Each time you choose structure over chaos, the neural pathways responsible for focus and patience strengthen. Over time, this becomes your default operating system. Spiritually, discipline stabilizes your vibration. It anchors your energy in purpose, preventing external noise from shaking your inner signal. The disciplined person radiates calm authority because their energy is self-governed. Begin with the basics. Know exactly where your money goes. Ignorance is the currency of the broke. Awareness, though uncomfortable at first, is clarity in disguise. Track your spending, not to restrict pleasure, but to reveal patterns. What you measure improves. When you master numbers, you master narrative. Next, automate. Systems are stronger than willpower. Schedule your savings and investments so that discipline happens by default. Each automated action sends a signal to your subconscious. I am trustworthy with abundance. You build faith in yourself through evidence, not intention. The more evidence you gather, the quieter doubt becomes. Detach from the illusion that discipline is punishment. In truth, it is liberation. The undisciplined are slaves to impulse trapped in cycles of reaction, regret, and reactivity. The disciplined are free because their actions serve their long-term design. Freedom is not the absence of boundaries, it is the mastery of them. There will be days when progress feels invisible, days when consistency feels pointless. This is where character is tempered, like steel under pressure, in repetition, in silence. Remember, the compound effect does not announce itself. Growth happens underground before it bursts into visibility. While others seek comfort, stay consistent. While they post illusions of success, you are building its foundation. Emotionally discipline creates peace. When you act from structure, anxiety loses leverage. You no longer wonder what if because you already have a plan. The market may rise or fall, opportunities may appear or vanish, but your system remains steady. This stability radiates confidence, and confidence is magnetic. There's also an energetic dimension to discipline. Every time you delay gratification, you store power. You are telling the universe, I can handle expansion without collapse. Abundance does not flow to those who crave it. It flows to those who can contain it. Your ability to hold discipline is your ability to hold wealth. Refuse to chase trends that promise shortcuts. The quick path consumes more energy than it creates. True mastery is cumulative. It builds from layers of consistent effort. The disciplined learn, not because it is glamorous, but because it is necessary. They sharpen their skills while the undisciplined are distracted by novelty. In a noisy world, discipline is rebellion. It is spiritual defiance against chaos. Design your environment to support your best self. Remove temptation instead of negotiating with it. If impulse spending derails, you make spending inconvenient. If distraction steals your focus, block it. Energy leaks are the unseen cost of every unguarded moment. Your environment should make success the default outcome, not the rare exception. Each disciplined choice reinforces identity. You begin to see yourself not as someone trying to improve, but as someone who is improvement in motion. And when identity changes, effort becomes effortless. You no longer need to force habits, they become who you are. When fatigue arrives, remember your reason. Discipline without purpose becomes rigidity, but discipline with purpose becomes power. Ask, what freedom am I buying with this effort? What future peace am I constructing with this sacrifice? Let those answers fuel you when the path feels dull. Finally, understand this discipline is spiritual strength disguised as routine. Each small act, tracking, saving, learning, is a prayer in motion. It declares, I am ready. I am responsible. I am aligned. The universe listens to consistency louder than it listens to words. So continue when it's boring. Execute when it's hard. Trust when it's quiet. Because while talent opens doors, only discipline keeps them open. In a world obsessed with speed, become the one who endures. Forge yourself into someone the universe can trust with abundance. When that happens, wealth stops testing you and starts serving you. Chapter 6. Master the psychology of risk. Risk is the heartbeat of progress. It is the price of entry for every realm worth entering. The people who thrive financially, emotionally, spiritually are not those who avoid risk, but those who understand it, measure it, and move through it with clarity. The goal is not to eliminate uncertainty, but to master your relationship with it. You were trained to fear risk. Society calls it dangerous. Family calls it reckless. But the truth is that safety and stagnation share the same disguise. Every time you play it safe, you reinforce the illusion that comfort equals control. Yet comfort is the most subtle form of decay. What feels like stability is often slow erosion, the death of potential disguised as calm. To understand risk, first recognize the biology behind it. Your brain is wired for survival, not success. Its primary job is to avoid pain, not to create greatness. When you approach an uncertain decision, an investment, a business, a leap of faith, your amygdala triggers alarms. It does not distinguish between a financial risk and a physical threat. That is why your heart races, your stomach tightens, your palms sweat. But here lies the power. Awareness gives you choice. Once you know this reaction is physiological, not prophetic, you can override it with logic training and faith. The wealthy do not have less fear. They have more awareness. They know that emotional storms are part of the climb, and they've trained themselves to breathe through the turbulence. They use education as their anchor. Because when you understand how money works, how markets cycle, how assets behave, how opportunity compounds, you convert fear into strategy. Knowledge turns chaos into pattern. Spiritually, risk is sacred. It is the universe's test of trust. Do you believe in the vision you cannot yet see? Every risk asks that question. Each time you answer with action, you collapse potential into reality. You demonstrate faith not in luck, but in your own readiness. The quantum field responds to bold frequency vibrations, backed by courage, not hesitation. Inaction is energetic neutrality. It tells the universe I am undecided. Decision, even imperfect, sends power rippling through your future. Approach risk like a scientist, not a gambler. Gather data, define variables, limit exposure, then act decisively. The goal is not to bet wildly, but to engage intelligently. The more you expose yourself to controlled uncertainty, the more adaptable you become. This process builds emotional muscle, the kind that allows you to stay calm when others panic. Emotional discipline under pressure is the rarest financial asset on earth. Every calculated risk carries two possibilities: reward or refinement. If it succeeds, it expands your capacity. If it fails, it expands your wisdom. Either way, you grow. The only true loss is never engaging the challenge at all. Avoiding risk does not preserve security. It guarantees stagnation. Inflation will eat your savings. Innovation will outpace your skills. And fear will quietly steal your years. Remember, in the modern world, no risk is the biggest risk. Every industry, every technology, every system is shifting faster than comfort allows. Playing small is no longer safe. It is extinction, disguised as caution. The universe rewards movement, not maintenance. Practically begin with scaled exposure. Take small, deliberate risks that stretch, but don't break you. Invest modestly in something you believe in. Learn a new skill outside your comfort zone. Pitch a project even if your voice shakes. Each victory reinforces competence. Each failure fortifies resilience. Over time, your tolerance for uncertainty grows, and your identity evolves from avoider to adventurer. There is a spiritual symmetry to this. The more uncertainty you can hold without breaking, the more abundance you can receive without collapsing. The capacity for risk is the same capacity required for reward. The universe will not deliver blessings to someone who flinches every time it tests them. When doubt whispers, "What if I lose?" answer with a higher question, "What if I rise?" This inversion is not denial. It is discipline of perception. Most people live imprisoned by what-ifs that never happen. The successful live guided by even-ifs. Even if I fail, I'll learn. Even if I fall, I'll rebuild. Even if I lose, I'll expand. That mindset transforms risk from a threat into a teacher. Do not wait for certainty. Certainty is the luxury of those who never move. Every master you admire once acted while unsure. They built confidence after the leap, not before. Risk is the bridge between imagination and evidence. Cross it often, and soon you'll notice that what once terrified you now feels like rhythm. From a quantum standpoint, every time you choose movement over fear, you shift into a new frequency, a version of yourself capable of handling greater complexity and reward. Life is not punishing you with uncertainty. It is upgrading you through it. So take the step. Open the account. Ask the question. Launch the idea. You do not need perfect timing. You need present courage. Risk is not chaos. It is energy demanding direction. Channel it wisely, and it becomes momentum. Mastering risk does not mean being fearless. It means being faithful, full of faith in your capacity, your preparation, your adaptability. Faith is the highest form of strategy. You were not designed to play small. You were designed to evolve. Every great chapter of your life will begin with a risk that made you tremble. That tremble is the sound of your old limits breaking. So let the world shake. Let your pulse race. Then move. Because on the other side of risk lies expansion. And on the other side of expansion lies freedom. Chapter 7. Build your high-value skill stack. You are the primary asset. Your most valuable investment will never be in a stock, a coin, or a company. It will be in you. Everything external money clients markets flows through the filter of your skill focus and emotional mastery. The world pays not for time, but for transformation. And the more value you create, the more freedom you command. A salary can keep you comfortable, but it cannot make you free. The job system was designed to sustain, not liberate. Freedom begins when you treat your mind as your business, your skills as your products, and your discipline as your marketing. Every skill you build is another stream of possibility, another magnet for income, another proof of growth. The old world rewarded credentials. The new world rewards competence. Degrees fade, industries mutate, but high-value skills compound forever. Learning to learn is now the most profitable ability on earth. The faster you can adapt, the safer you become, because adaptability is wealth insurance. Start by identifying the intersections that multiply power. One skill can make you employable. A stack of synergistic skills can make you unstoppable. Combine logic with creativity, art with analytics, intuition with systems. A marketer who understands psychology sells better. A designer who knows storytelling communicates emotion. A trader who studies human behavior masters timing. Blending skills multiplies influence, and influence multiplies income. You live in an age where knowledge is borderless. Every book, course, and mentor you need is already one click away. Ignorance is no longer misfortune, it's a choice. Every hour spent scrolling aimlessly is an hour someone else is using to outlearn you. Every night wasted on distraction is a sunrise where your competitors wake sharper. Education is not what school gives you, it's what discipline sustains in you. Create a study ritual. 1 hour a day dedicated to mastery can transform your life within a year. That hour compounds. Neural plasticity guarantees it. Each repetition strengthens pathways of insight and intuition. Spiritually, that hour is your offering to the universe, saying, I am ready for more, because I am becoming more. The universe does not promote the unprepared. It aligns with those expanding their capacity. Choose skills that serve both purpose and leverage. Learn communication. The ability to express an idea clearly is the bridge between imagination and income. Learn sales. Every dream requires persuasion, even if the only person you convince is yourself. Learn leadership, because the higher you rise, the more your calm will guide others through chaos. Do not confuse motion with mastery. Collecting courses without implementation is intellectual hoarding. Apply what you learn immediately. Each application locks the lesson into the nervous system. Reflection cements wisdom. Practice converts potential into precision. Invest money into your mind as seriously as you invest money into markets. A $20 book can return a $1 million mindset if you read it with hunger. The return on self-investment is exponential because your upgraded thinking amplifies every future decision. From an energetic view, skill development raises your vibration of competence. It tells the field, I am responsible with the gifts I've been given. Competence generates confidence. Confidence emits coherence. Coherence attracts opportunity. That is why the most prepared seem the most lucky. They've trained their frequency to be compatible with abundance. Remember, comfort breeds decay. The moment you think I know enough, you begin to fade. Knowledge must circulate like blood. Stagnation is death. Stay curious. Study outside your lane. Learn philosophy to sharpen reason. Study biology to understand systems. Explore art to refine perception. Wisdom grows at the edges of what makes you uncomfortable. Each new skill you acquire becomes a form of capital that can never be taxed, stolen, or devalued. Markets may crash, currencies may change, but mastery remains portable wealth. The person who can adapt will always have leverage because opportunity recognizes capability faster than titles. Treat every challenge as a curriculum. When something intimidates you, it is inviting you to evolve. Every frustration signals a gap in skill. Instead of complaining, ask what ability would make this easy, then learn it. Each answer you master converts struggle into strength. Finally, remember this truth: your income will always mirror your identity. If you want to earn more, you must become more. Not louder, not busier, better. Better at solving problems, at communicating truth, at directing energy toward creation. The ultimate form of wealth is autonomy, the ability to wake each morning and decide what to build, where to go, who to serve. That freedom begins when your skill set makes you untouchable. So study relentlessly, practice deliberately, build relentlessly. You are not chasing value, you are manufacturing it. The mind you forge becomes the empire you own. You are the asset. Protect it, expand it, sharpen it daily. Chapter 8. Rewire your financial energy. Field money is not just a number, it is an energy current. It moves like electricity, responding to conductors and repelled by resistance. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned, you become a clear channel through which abundance flows naturally. When they are scattered, fearful, or self-sabotaging, the current short circuits. The purpose of this chapter is to help you become a steady conduit for wealth by rewiring your energetic field. Every human being emits a measurable electromagnetic frequency. This is not poetry, it is physics. The heart produces the strongest magnetic field in the body, and it expands or contracts depending on your emotional state. Gratitude, confidence, and trust expand it. Guilt, shame, and fear collapse it. When your field contracts, opportunities that once gravitated toward you begin to fade. When it expands, synchronicities increase, ideas flow, and financial doors open with less resistance. To rewire your field, begin with emotional awareness. Your emotions are signals, not sentences. When you feel scarcity, do not drown in it. Study it. Ask, what thought triggered this feeling? Often, it is an unconscious memory or inherited belief that no longer serves you. Each time you bring awareness to it, you dissolve a fragment of old programming. Emotional clarity is energetic hygiene. From a spiritual, scientific view, thought is frequency and emotion is amplitude, the intensity that determines how far your signal travels. A weak thought repeated without emotion barely registers in the field, but a thought charged with deep emotion, like certainty, gratitude, or peace, creates powerful coherence between the heart and brain. This state, known as heart-brain alignment, has been measured by scientists and mystics alike. It is the zone where manifestation accelerates because your internal signal is strong and steady. You can create this coherence deliberately. Each morning before you touch your phone or think of the world's noise, sit still. Breathe slowly. Feel your chest expand. As you breathe, think of one thing you genuinely appreciate, a person, an experience, or simply the fact that you are alive. Hold that feeling for 60 seconds. Imagine the emotion radiating from your chest, like golden light, expanding beyond your body. This is not mere meditation. It is energetic calibration. You are tuning yourself to the frequency of abundance before the day begins. Now connect that feeling to a financial intention. Visualize yourself receiving or achieving something tangible, a business milestone, a client, a goal reached. Feel it as if it has already happened. The emotion is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. The universe does not respond to words. It responds to energy. When you combine gratitude with intention, you create coherence. When you sustain coherence, you create magnetism. However, coherence without discipline leaks power. Energy must flow through structure, or it dissipates. Think of it like electricity. It needs wiring to become useful. Your systems of budgeting, saving, and investing are the physical wires that carry your energetic current. Without them, even the most positive vibration cannot sustain form. Manifestation without management is chaos. The goal is balance, strong energy, clear direction, steady flow. Be cautious of guilt. It is the most expensive emotion you can afford. Guilt about wanting more, guilt about past mistakes, guilt about success. Each lowers your frequency. The universe does not judge ambition. It mirrors alignment. When you thrive, you expand what is possible for others. Your abundance is not theft. It is testimony. Release guilt through forgiveness. Forgive yourself for not knowing better, for wasting time, for failing. The moment you forgive, your field clears, and energy that was trapped in regret becomes available for creation. From a practical lens, integrate grounding rituals into your routine. Touch the earth, move your body, drink water. Physical grounding stabilizes your electromagnetic field. When the body is calm, the mind receives guidance more clearly. Intuition is not mystical, it is biological coherence. The calmer your nervous system, the louder your inner wisdom. Rewiring your field also requires pruning energetic noise. Limit exposure to scarcity narratives, news that breeds fear, conversations that glorify struggle, environments that drain. Every input adjusts your frequency. Protect your field as fiercely as you protect your bank account. Energy thieves exist in both forms. Some drain money, others drain spirit. Both must be removed with grace. And remember, gratitude is not an afterthought. It is a magnetic amplifier. Every time you express genuine appreciation, you tell the universe, I am aware of my wealth now. That awareness multiplies what you acknowledge. The habit of gratitude creates emotional resonance with abundance. You start noticing possibilities instead of problems, blessings instead of burdens, flow instead of friction. The reprogrammed financial field feels different. It is quieter, lighter, more certain. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer panic, you plan. You no longer beg, you build. Money begins to move toward you because it recognizes safety, structure, and sincerity in your vibration. Understand this deeply. Wealth is not achieved. It is received by those tuned to its frequency. Your task is not to force, but to align. When your inner frequency matches the vibration of prosperity, money becomes a natural side effect of coherence. So breathe deeper, think cleaner, feel richer. Each act of alignment is a silent signal to the universe saying, I am ready to hold more. And when readiness meets resonance, abundance becomes inevitable. Chapter 9. The Science of Momentum. Small moves. Cosmic impact. Momentum is the hidden engine of every transformation. It is not born in massive leaps, but in small repeated actions performed with devotion. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can build in a year. The universe rewards consistency because consistency creates rhythm, and rhythm is nature's language of power. Momentum is more than motion. It is motion with memory. Every disciplined act compounds on the one before it. Every repetition strengthens not just habit, but identity. The moment you take a single step, you activate the principle of inertia. The hardest part is beginning, but once in motion, the universe joins your pace. You stop pushing and start gliding. Think of it scientifically in physics. An object in motion tends to stay in motion unless acted upon by resistance. In psychology, a person in progress tends to stay in progress unless interrupted by fear or fatigue. In the quantum field, the energy you sustain expands in strength and frequency. Each aligned action sends ripples outward, attracting opportunities vibrating at the same speed. Small acts become waves of transformation across time. Your financial life follows the same rule. The simple act of tracking expenses, studying a concept, or saving a small amount might seem insignificant, but compounded over weeks and months, those micro-actions become momentum, strong enough to shift your entire reality. Momentum converts invisible energy into visible evidence. Momentum is also psychological therapy. It dismantles procrastination by replacing thought with movement. When you act, the brain releases dopamine, a chemical of reward and motivation. Dopamine is not only pleasure, it is proof. Each dose teaches your system, I can move, I can grow, I can build. You train yourself out of paralysis through proof, not persuasion. From a spiritual perspective, momentum is faith embodied. Every small action is a declaration to the universe, I trust the process more than my doubt. You cannot control the pace of external results, but you can command internal consistency. That consistency is the vibration the universe recognizes as readiness. Start where you are. Begin absurdly small. If you cannot save 1,000, save 10. If you cannot work 3 hours, work 15 minutes. If you cannot run a mile, walk around the block. The size of the action matters less than the direction of it. Each micro movement tells your subconscious that the old pattern is broken. Once broken, even the smallest crack lets light in. The challenge is not building momentum, it's keeping it. Distraction. Fatigue or perfectionism will try to break your rhythm. Guard it. Build rituals that make forward motion automatic. A morning review, a weekly check-in, a list of 3 actions per day that must be completed no matter what. Momentum dies in ambiguity. It thrives in clarity. Understand the compounding nature of focus. Each moment of concentration deepens neural grooves of mastery. In the beginning, discipline feels heavy. Over time, it becomes identity. The same effort that once exhausted you becomes the baseline of who you are. You expand your capacity by maintaining rhythm even when visible rewards are absent. There is a cosmic principle hidden here. The universe amplifies whatever is repeated with emotion. Repetition builds vibration. Vibration builds manifestation. When your actions, thoughts, and feelings operate in sync, you become unstoppable because you have achieved energetic coherence in motion. Momentum, in this sense, is sacred. It is the dance between discipline and divine timing. Do not stop to measure progress too soon. The seed does not sprout because you dig it up daily. It grows because you trust its rhythm. Momentum works the same way. There will be silent weeks where results seem invisible. Do not mistake stillness for stagnation. Underground, the roots of transformation are spreading, strengthening, connecting. When fatigue whispers, rest means failure. Remember that rest is rhythm too. Momentum is sustained by balance. Periods of silence, reflection, or joy are not interruptions. They are the exhale that allows the next inhale of power. True momentum breathes. It doesn't burn. Emotionally, momentum rewires your identity faster than motivation ever could. You stop describing yourself as someone trying to succeed and start becoming someone who succeeds by default. That shift is invisible but irreversible. It is how ordinary people create extraordinary lives. Momentum is not luck, not privilege, not accident. It is the spiritual geometry of persistence. The line between impossible and inevitable is crossed one consistent action at a time. So do not wait for perfect plans or ideal timing. Start now. Keep going. Keep moving. Each step, no matter how small, aligns you closer to the version of yourself that already lives the life you desire. Because in the mathematics of the universe, effort is never lost. It echoes, accumulates, and returns multiplied. The day you realize that every small move has cosmic impact, you will stop underestimating the quiet power of persistence. Keep your rhythm steady. Keep your belief unwavering. Momentum will make the rest inevitable. Chapter 10. Redefine failure. As data turn losses into blueprints, failure is not a verdict. It is a measurement. It tells you what didn't work so you can refine what will. Every collapse, every misstep, every wrong turn is an encrypted message from reality, feedback from the field of experience. The problem is that most people confuse feedback with finality. They stop at pain instead of decoding the lesson hidden within it. Understand this truth. Success is not built on victories alone. It is constructed from well-studied losses. Behind every stable fortune stands a long trail of experiments that did not succeed, but were recorded, analyzed, and transformed into wisdom. The only people who fail permanently are those who refuse to interpret the data. From a psychological perspective, failure strengthens resilience through neuroadaptation. When you face loss and recover, your brain learns emotional flexibility. The circuits that once triggered despair begin to trigger problem-solving. Each recovery forms new neural pathways for persistence. Spiritually, this process is purification. The ego dissolves its obsession with perfection and grows humble enough to learn. What feels like collapse is often initiation, a test of whether you are truly committed to mastery or only to applause. To redefine failure, you must first neutralize shame. Shame says, I am the failure. Truth says, I experienced failure. One is identity, the other is data. The difference determines whether you evolve or repeat. Write this distinction on your wall if you must. Failure describes an event, not a person. Once you separate the two, clarity returns. When something goes wrong, resist the reflex to escape it. Sit with it. Record it. Ask precise questions. What decision led here? What assumption failed? What pattern repeated? What rule can prevent this? Next time. These questions turn pain into process. Without them, pain simply becomes memory, and memory without meaning breeds fear. But when you extract the lesson, the same experience becomes leverage. Keep a failure log. Yes, a book of losses, not to glorify defeat, but to catalog data. Every month, review it. Highlight recurring causes. Adjust systems, not self-worth. This is how engineers build rockets and how investors build empires. They iterate. Emotion may bruise, but iteration never betrays. Biologically, your mind loves certainty. It labels failure as danger because it cannot yet see the full picture. But faith, the quantum kind, is your willingness to stay open while incomplete. Faith says, the pattern is forming even when I can't see the full geometry yet. When you adopt this stance, fear transforms into curiosity, and curiosity fuels creative solutions. Spiritually, failure is an energy cleanser. It strips away arrogance, illusion, and complacency, the heavy metals of the soul. Each setback removes an impurity, leaving a sharper, lighter signal for abundance to attach to. The universe tests those who ask for expansion. It asks, can you hold faith when form dissolves? If you can, you graduate to greater capacity. Practical refinement follows spiritual resilience. When a financial plan fails, do not spiral measure. Maybe the strategy was right, but the timing wrong. Maybe the action was sound, but the emotion behind it, fear or greed, distorted the outcome. Every result is traceable if you study without ego. Ego interprets loss as humiliation. Mastery interprets loss as information. Remember that the opposite of success is not failure, it is stagnation. Failure implies motion experimentation, risk engagement. Stagnation is paralysis. The moment you stop testing, reality stops responding. Keep moving. The data will calibrate itself through your effort. Forgiveness plays an invisible role here. Forgive the version of you who made poor decisions. Forgive your impatience, your blind optimism, your ignorance. They were not mistakes. They were prototypes. You were designing wisdom through trial. Forgiveness removes energetic residue, allowing momentum to resume. Without it, you loop endlessly around the same lesson until compassion sets you free. Reframe the timeline. The financially unbreakable play a long game. They do not expect perfection in a quarter. They plan for mastery over decades. When you think long-term, short-term losses lose their sting. The temporary becomes tolerable because you are loyal to the larger arc. Every failure is feedback about alignment. If something consistently breaks, it's not punishment. It's a signal that your vibration and your vision are misaligned. Adjust one, and the system recalibrates. The universe is not against you. It is correcting your aim. Repeat this truth until it becomes bone deep. There are no wasted experiences when awareness is applied. The loss becomes tuition. The pain becomes precision. The memory becomes method. Do not hide your failures. They are the proof you dared. They are the receipts of courage. When you study them, you become unshakable because nothing the world throws at you is unfamiliar. You have already met uncertainty, invited it to dinner, and taken notes. So when the next setback arrives, do not flinch. Lean in, open your journal, extract the data, update the system, smile slightly at the irony that what once hurt now instructs. Because failure is not the opposite of success. It is the workshop in which success is forged. Every master, every billionaire, every visionary learned to translate loss into language pain, into pattern chaos, into clarity. You are doing the same. Chapter 11. The energetic blueprint of wealthy minds. Wealth is not an accident of birth. It is an architecture of energy. The truly wealthy operate from a different frequency, one that fuses clarity, gratitude, confidence, and patience into a coherent field. This field is what draws opportunities, allies, and resources with an almost magnetic precision. You can copy their actions, but until you embody their energetic blueprint, the results will feel temporary. Every person radiates a vibrational pattern. It is formed by your dominant thoughts, emotional tone, and habitual self-talk. Poor minds think in survival frequencies, urgency, fear, scarcity, comparison. Wealthy minds think in expansion frequencies, strategy, calm, curiosity, contribution. You can feel the difference when you walk into a room. Some people drain it, others elevate it. Energy precedes words. The energetic blueprint of a wealthy mind begins with clarity. Wealthy thinkers know exactly what they want, why they want it, and what they are willing to do to achieve it. They do not scatter focus across 20 open tabs of distraction. Their clarity simplifies their field, concentrating power, like a laser. In physics, focused energy creates force. In life, focused intention creates results. Next is gratitude, not as a polite phrase, but as a state of resonance. Gratitude amplifies abundance because it signals to the universe, I recognize what is working. The moment you acknowledge good, the field around you stabilizes. Gratitude transforms survival mode into growth mode. Instead of chasing what's missing, you multiply what's already present. The wealthy practice gratitude daily, not out of ritual, but out of energetic hygiene. Then comes confidence, which is not arrogance, but coherence. Confidence is the vibration of self-trust. It says, even if I don't know how, I know I will. This frequency attracts collaboration because it radiates safety. Others sense that your energy is grounded, non-reactive, and forward-moving. The universe works the same way. It entrusts abundance to those who can handle it without trembling. And finally, patience. True wealth thinkers move with the rhythm of long cycles. They understand compound growth, both financial and spiritual. Patience is not waiting passively. It is trusting timing while working precisely. It is holding the vibration of certainty even when visible evidence lags behind. In energetic terms, patience keeps your signal clean. Impatience distorts frequency with noise and fear. To build this energetic architecture, study your environment. You are constantly synchronizing with the people and media you consume. Energy is contagious. You will always rise or fall to the frequency of your closest influences. Surround yourself with people who normalize excellence, who speak the language of progress without bragging or despair. Their vibration will recalibrate yours. Environment is not just atmosphere, it is architecture. Design your physical space to support clarity. Clean environments mirror clean energy. Organize your desk, your wallet, your digital files. The state of your surroundings reflects the state of your field. Wealthy minds treat order as a form of self-respect. Protect your inputs. The words you hear become the thoughts you think. The thoughts you think become the frequency you emit. Be ruthless with what you allow into your awareness. Replace gossip with growth, complaint with gratitude, consumption with creation. The field listens to what you feed it. There is also an invisible element to the wealthy blueprint: generosity. Wealthy energy flows outward because it knows energy only multiplies when in motion. Giving is not loss. It is circulation. Whether through money, mentorship, or kindness, generosity expands the field. It declares, "I have more than enough to share," and the universe responds by confirming that statement. Scarcity hoards. Abundance flows. Spiritually wealthy minds are engineers of vibration. They know that internal stability is their most valuable currency. When markets crash, they stay calm. When opportunities appear, they act quickly. Their emotions serve strategy, not sabotage it. They have trained their nervous system to hold expansion without collapsing into chaos. To begin embodying this energy practice, energetic mirroring. Observe someone you admire, not their possessions, but their posture, tone, pace, and emotional presence. Your mirror neurons will begin to replicate their rhythm. Over time, imitation becomes integration. You are not pretending, you are synchronizing. Remember, wealth does not chase, it attracts. It doesn't compete, it creates. It doesn't scream, it signals. When your energy becomes coherent, the outer world simply rearranges itself to match the vibration you've chosen. Here is a practical exercise before every decision. Ask yourself, is this action aligned with scarcity or with wealth energy? If the answer is scarcity, pause. Adjust. Redirect. Each correction rewires your blueprint. Understand this with final clarity. Wealthy minds are not lucky. They are tuned. They live in the same world, face the same uncertainty, but they interpret it through a higher signal of awareness. Their wealth begins in the unseen, and the material world simply obeys. Train your inner frequency until it hums with confidence, order, and calm generosity. When you do, you stop chasing abundance, and abundance begins to orbit you. Because the outer world is never the source of wealth. It is only the mirror reflecting the signal you send. Chapter 12. Quantum goal setting. Aligning intention with frequency. Goals are not just targets. They are coordinates in the field of potential. When you set a goal, you are not inventing something new. You are locating an existing possibility and tuning yourself to it. Every vision already exists in the quantum field as probability. Your belief, emotion, and consistent focus collapse that probability into physical reality. The question is not whether your dream exists, it's whether your energy matches its vibration long enough for it to appear. Traditional goal setting relies only on logic, numbers, plans, and deadlines. Quantum goal setting integrates frequency. It asks you to fuse clarity with emotion, strategy with energy, logic with faith. The mind designs the blueprint. The heart fuels the current. When both align, manifestation accelerates with scientific precision. Step 1. Define with precision. Vague intention produces vague results. Wealthy creators describe their goals with mathematical clarity. Don't say, "I want to be rich." Say, "By December 31st, 2026, I generate $200,000 in revenue through my business while working in calm focus 4 hours per day." Be specific, sensory, and emotional. What does that level of freedom feel like? What sounds fill the room when it becomes real? The brain learns through sensory language. It needs images, not abstractions. Step 2. Write your goals in the present tense. The subconscious mind does not understand future or past. It responds only to now. Say, I am not, I will. This linguistic shift transforms wishing into wiring. Each repetition creates a neurological pattern of certainty. The more often you affirm it with emotional conviction, the more your nervous system begins to behave as if it is already true. Step 3. Attach emotion to intention. Emotion is the frequency carrier of your goal. Without it, intention stays theoretical. With it, the signal travels through the field. Feel your goal as already achieved, not fantasized, but experienced. Let gratitude for the future blend with appreciation for the present. The overlap of those two emotions creates a magnetic pulse known as coherence. Coherence collapses time between desire and realization. Step 4. Visualize strategically. Visualization is not daydreaming, it is rehearsal. Elite athletes use it to rewire muscle memory. Creators use it to rewire destiny. Close your eyes and run mental simulations of success. Picture yourself performing the actions that produce the result, not just celebrating the outcome. The brain does not differentiate between vividly imagined and physically experienced events. It encodes both as real. You are programming your future body and mind to recognize the path before walking it. Step 5. Anchor your vision in action. Energy without form dissolves. Write down 3 micro-actions daily that align with your goal's frequency. Each small act sends a signal of seriousness to the universe. I am not hoping, I am building. The law of cause and effect rewards motion, not meditation alone. Step 6. Use feedback loops. Review your goals weekly. Measure progress not only by results but by resonance. Does this goal still feel aligned? Quantum goals evolve as your vibration changes. Sometimes what you thought you wanted was only a bridge to a higher desire. Flexibility keeps your field fluid. Rigidity creates resistance. Step 7. Release attachment to timing. The universe does not obey impatience. It delivers when alignment stabilizes. When you chase, you vibrate lack. When you trust, you vibrate readiness. Patience is energetic faith. It says, I know it's coming, because it already exists. Let your energy rest in that certainty. Step 8. Celebrate micro-manifestations. Every sign of alignment, a new contact, a small payment, a random coincidence is confirmation that the field is responding. Celebrate them. Gratitude magnifies momentum. Recognition strengthens frequency. What you acknowledge, you anchor. From a neuroscientific lens, this process trains your reticular activating system, the brain's filter for relevance to notice opportunities matching your goals. Spiritually, it tunes your aura to the vibration of fulfillment. Both mechanisms work simultaneously, one biological, one energetic. That dual power is what makes quantum goal setting so effective. There is, however, one essential warning: you cannot manifest beyond your emotional allowance. If deep down you believe success will isolate you, exhaust you, or make you unworthy of love, your subconscious will block the goal, no matter how clear your vision board is. Identify and dissolve those inner resistances through reflection and forgiveness. Unworthiness is the only true barrier to manifestation. When mind and emotion, logic and energy focus and faith merge, creation becomes natural. You no longer chase goals, you attune to them. You don't force outcomes, you become the person who makes them inevitable. In the end, goal setting is not about controlling the future. It is about sculpting the self. The moment you evolve into the version of you who could sustain the dream arrives unannounced. So write boldly, feel deeply, act daily, and trust completely. Your goals are not distant. They are already vibrating in your field, waiting for you to reach their frequency. Chapter 13. Time. Energy and attention. The trinity of wealth. Money is the fourth form of wealth. The first three: time, energy, and attention created. You can recover money lost, but not a wasted hour, not a drained spirit, not a distracted mind. The people who command abundance do not start by managing their finances. They begin by mastering these three primal currencies. Time is your most precious asset because it defines the lifespan of your potential. Everyone receives 24 hours, yet the results differ because of how those hours are valued and directed. Most people spend time as if it were infinite scrolling, reacting, waiting. The wealthy treat time as sacred territory. Every hour must justify its existence. If it doesn't grow, heal you, or serve your mission, it silently steals from your future. Start measuring time in meaning, not minutes. What do your hours produce in terms of growth, freedom, and peace? Audit a single week of your life. Where do your best hours go? To building or to numbing? To learning or to leaking energy? Once you see the truth, reclaim it ruthlessly. Time must be invested, not filled, but time without energy is empty. Energy is the voltage that determines how powerfully each hour performs. You can have 12 hours free and achieve nothing if your energy is fragmented. Protect your vitality as fiercely as your bank account. Sleep deeply, move daily, nourish intelligently. The body is not a vehicle for productivity. It is the generator of your wealth frequency. A fatigued body lowers vibration, dulls intuition, and attracts confusion. Understand that energy is both physical and emotional. Every resentment, every unspoken frustration, every repetitive worry leaks voltage from your system. Release grudges not to be virtuous, but to be efficient. Anger consumes energy meant for creation. Forgiveness isn't moral, it's strategic. The clearer your emotional body, the stronger your magnetic field. And then comes attention, the rarest currency in the modern world. Attention is what connects time and energy. It is the beam that directs your internal power toward a single outcome. In physics, dispersed light warms. Focused light cuts steel. The same principle applies to human potential. Distraction is not harmless. It is theft. Every notification, every random scroll, every needless worry splits your beam and weakens your field. Guard your attention as sacred property. Begin each day by deciding what deserves it. List 3 priorities and give them your full focus uninterrupted for blocks of time. Silence noise. Turn off unnecessary inputs. Your attention shapes your vibration, and your vibration shapes your destiny. There is a spiritual geometry in this trinity. Time is space. Energy is vibration. Attention is direction. When all three align, you create coherence, a state in which your actions, emotions, and focus operate as one. In that state, manifestation becomes effortless because the universe experiences you as signal, not static. From a neurological view, coherence activates the flow state, the brain's peak performance mode. In flow time, dilates, fatigue, dissolves, and creativity expands. In spiritual terms, it's the same phenomenon mystics call presence, the merging of doing and being. Whether you call it focus or faith, it's the gateway through which all wealth flows. Practical mastery of the Trinity begins with rhythm. Create non-negotiable rituals that signal to your system. We are building. Morning rituals tune energy. Evening rituals preserve it. Wake up and ground yourself in silence, sunlight, or breath work before touching your phone. End each night by clearing the mind. Write your wins, forgive your mistakes. Visualize tomorrow with calm precision. Rituals turn chaos into cadence, and cadence builds consistency. Next, integrate strategic rest. Constant motion is not power, it's panic. Even machines require downtime to avoid burnout. Rest is where integration happens. It's the exhale that fuels the next inhale of progress. True wealth is rhythmic, not restless. Finally, treat your attention like an investment portfolio. Diversify wisely. Some attention for work, some for learning, some for love, some for stillness. Overexposure to any one domain creates imbalance. Wealth without health is collapse. Work without reflection is emptiness. As you refine your use of time, energy, and attention, you'll notice your external results shift without extra effort. Decisions become clearer. Opportunities appear faster. The right people show up. Why? Because you've stopped scattering your life force. You've become a coherent signal, a beacon that the universe can easily recognize and respond to. Remember, money is what happens when your time, energy, and attention are translated into form. If you master the first three, the fourth takes care of itself. So today, track your minutes like gold. Guard your energy like treasure. Focus your attention like a beam of light. Time creates structure. Energy fuels motion. Attention directs power. Together they form the trinity that builds empires. Chapter 14. The Art of Detachment: How to Let Go and Still Attract More. The paradox of creation is this: you only receive fully when you stop grasping. Detachment is not indifference, it is mastery. It means holding your goals with clarity, but not clinging with desperation. You must desire with focus, but release with faith. The moment your desire becomes tension, it repels what you seek. The moment you let go, the universe breathes again. Understand the physics of energy: pressure blocks flow. In electricity, excessive resistance causes heat and burnout. In manifestation, emotional resistance creates the same effect. When you obsess, doubt, or chase, you generate static that disrupts the current between you and your outcome. Detachment clears that static. It restores harmony between intention and allowance. Detachment begins with trust, a quiet knowing that life is not random, that timing is intelligent. What is meant for you cannot miss you, but it may require your evolution to hold it. When you cling to something you're not yet prepared for, you experience delay. The delay is not denial, it's calibration. The universe protects the unready. Trust, however, is not passive waiting. It is active alignment. You still take action, you still plan, you still move, but you do it from calm expectation, not anxious control. You are no longer trying to force the river. You are learning to sail with its current. Control belongs to fear. Flow belongs to power. In neuroscience, this state is known as relaxed concentration. When the mind stays clear, but not clenched, the brain's alpha waves synchronize, enhancing creativity and intuition. You see opportunities that anxiety would have hidden. Spiritually, this is the same frequency mystics call surrender, a vibration of effortless confidence. Detachment also requires emotional maturity. Most attachment arises from scarcity consciousness, the belief that if one opportunity slips, there will be none left. But abundance consciousness understands infinite potential. When you release one door, 10 others appear. You stop acting from panic and start operating from power. To practice detachment, start with language. Replace "I need this" with "I choose this." Need vibrates lack. Choose vibrates autonomy. Replace. I hope this works with "I trust this will unfold." Words shape frequency. Speak as if you are already supported. Then practice non-attachment to outcome, but full attachment to process. You cannot control when the seed blooms, but you can control how you water it. Focus on the quality of your effort, the integrity of your mindset, the joy in your work. When process becomes pleasure, result becomes inevitable. This principle is mirrored in investing. The wise investor doesn't panic with daily market swings. They trust the long-term compound effect. They plant capital, monitor trends, and detach from short-term turbulence. The same is true in life. You plant energy, monitor alignment, and stay steady. The deepest level of detachment comes from identity. Stop tying your worth to outcomes. You are not your business, your balance sheet, or your mistakes. You are the awareness behind them. When you stop using success to validate existence, success becomes easier to attract because it is no longer burdened with emotional weight. From a spiritual physics perspective, the field responds to emotion, not effort. The emotion of peaceful certainty carries more creative charge than the emotion of forced urgency. When you rest in trust, your electromagnetic field expands. That expansion acts as a signal of readiness, and reality reorganizes itself to meet you. Here's a daily practice. Visualize your desired outcome for 5 minutes. Feel it vividly, then release it with a breath. Imagine exhaling your intention into the cosmos and whispering, "It's done." Then move on. Detachment is not forgetting, it's releasing control over timing and method. Another form of detachment is from judgment. When results come slower than you expected, the mind rushes to label failure, wrong, unlucky. In truth, nothing is wrong. Everything is data. Detachment means observing without distortion, understanding that every delay, every redirection, is guiding you toward alignment. Letting go does not mean doing less. It means doing from a different state, one where tension is replaced by trust, and effort is fueled by joy, not fear. It means saying to the universe, "I have done my part. Now I let your timing complete the rest." Financially, this skill is priceless. Markets rise and fall, trends shift, algorithms change, but your inner stability becomes your edge. Detachment lets you act with logic when others react with emotion. It keeps your energy clean, your mind sharp, and your decisions precise. Remember, this truth-chasing pushes away, allowing attracts. The moment you stop grasping, life starts offering. The energy you free through surrender becomes fuel for creativity, intuition, and courage, the very ingredients that magnetize success. So hold your vision gently like a bird in your hand, not too tight to suffocate it, not too loose to lose it. Just balanced, steady, calm, open. Detachment is not the death of desire. It is the rebirth of power. Because when you let go, you don't lose control. You regain alignment. Chapter 15. The Law of Integration. Becoming the person your future requires everything you've learned so far. Discipline, belief, frequency, purpose culminates here. Integration. This is the moment where wisdom stops being theory and becomes identity, where information becomes embodiment. You cannot think your way to a new life. You must become the person who lives it. Integration is not adding more. It is aligning more deeply. Most people collect self-help like souvenirs, but their habits remain fragmented. They meditate in the morning, complain at noon, and doubt by night. The field does not respond to moments of alignment. It responds to consistency. Integration means your beliefs, emotions, and actions send one unified signal to the universe. The opposite of integration is fragmentation. Fragmented energy creates mixed results. You cannot vibrate abundance while speaking scarcity. You cannot affirm peace while acting in panic. Every contradiction in thought or habit cancels your signal. The universe doesn't punish inconsistency, it simply mirrors it. Integration is the process of removing those contradictions until your frequency becomes singular, pure, and unstoppable. To integrate, begin with identity mapping. Write a clear description of your future self, not only what they have, but how they think, move, and feel. How do they respond to setbacks? How do they spend their mornings? What do they tolerate or refuse? Detail this with ruthless specificity. Then measure your daily behavior against that standard. Each misalignment is not failure. It's a checkpoint. Adjust, repeat, live the identity before it manifests. From a scientific view, integration is neural reinforcement. Every repeated behavior strengthens the corresponding neural network. The more consistent the pattern, the more automatic the identity. You are literally rewiring your brain into the person you envision. Spiritually, it's the merging of soul and strategy, where your highest potential finally finds a home in human form. Next, integrate your energy hygiene into your practical systems. The same discipline you apply to saving money must be applied to saving vibration. Protect your environment, guard your thoughts, and clean your emotional field as diligently as you balance your accounts. Integration is wholeness across domains: mental, emotional, physical, and financial. Here's a simple yet profound framework for integration. Know, feel, do. Know, keep feeding your mind with truth, not noise. Read, study, question. Knowledge is the map. Feel, regulate your emotions so they align with your vision. Gratitude, peace, and confidence are your calibration tools. Do, execute relentlessly. Embodiment requires motion. Knowledge without action decays into noise. When all three synchronize, transformation stabilizes. You stop oscillating between extremes: motivation and burnout, hope and despair, and enter flow. In that flow, wealth and purpose merge into one continuous experience. Understand, integration is not instant. It's a gradual blending until the new self becomes second nature. You'll notice it subtly, the old reactions fading, the need for validation shrinking the mind, quieting into certainty. You won't have to convince yourself anymore. You are the evidence. The final stage of integration is service. When you embody alignment, your energy becomes medicine for others. People will feel calmer, clearer, more capable in your presence. That is not coincidence, it's resonance. The integrated being transmits order into chaos simply by existing. And in that vibration, opportunities expand beyond imagination. At this level, wealth is no longer about accumulation, it's about expression. You realize money, freedom, and influence were never the goal. They were tools to build something eternal: impact. Integration turns success into stewardship. You begin to operate from purpose, not pressure. From generosity, not greed. The law of integration states you do not attract what you want. You attract what you are consistently. Every habit is a vote for your frequency. Every choice reinforces your vibration. Every morning you wake up and embody your highest self. You anchor that reality a little deeper into existence. When your beliefs, emotions, and actions operate in harmony, the universe cannot resist responding. It bends not out of favoritism, but out of physics. You've become coherent, and coherence commands reality. So stop searching for new techniques. You already have everything you need. The next level isn't found, it's lived. Every breath, every word, every decision is your declaration. I am already who I was waiting to become. That is integration. That is mastery. And from that state, everything you desire will simply recognize you. Conclusion. The final alignment. Living as your own source. Every journey of transformation arrives at a silent realization. The power you've been chasing was never outside you. It was always the energy behind every choice, every vision, every breath. This final chapter is not about doing more. It is about being more. It is the integration of all principles into a single truth. You are the source. The world teaches you to seek validation from outcomes, numbers, followers, profits, applause. But mastery begins when you stop measuring life by external responses and start measuring by internal resonance. When your energy is coherent, peace replaces panic, direction replaces doubt, and abundance becomes a reflection, not a pursuit. Every law of energy focus, belief, patience, and detachment points to the same origin alignment. When your inner world is in order, your outer world cannot help but follow. Wealth, success, and freedom are effects. The cause is coherence. From a quantum perspective, coherence is resonance with the field of creation itself. When your heart and mind emit the same frequency, your electromagnetic signature becomes unmistakable. You attract, not because you chase, but because the universe recognizes itself in your vibration. You become both sender and receiver, cause and effect, in the same breath. Integration becomes embodiment here. You no longer listen to audiobooks hoping for change. You speak like them, act like them, radiate their truth. The transformation is complete when wisdom stops sounding inspiring and starts sounding familiar. That's when you know it's yours. Every principle you've learned converges now into a final pattern. Belief gives you direction. Discipline gives you motion. Faith gives you peace in uncertainty. Energy mastery gives you magnetism. Detachment gives you flow. Integration gives you power that endures. When these elements fuse, you stop living reactively and start living creatively. Life no longer happens to you, it unfolds through you. The gap between who you are and who you want to be disappears because you realize they were never separate. They were just frequencies of the same consciousness tuned at different levels of awareness. Understand enlightenment is not escape, it's efficiency. It's operating in harmony with universal law instead of fighting it. It's waking each day and asking not, what do I need, but what do I choose to express today? You shift from survival to creation. That is the highest form of wealth. At this level, your life becomes message and medicine. Your work inspires, not through words, but through vibration. People will feel something in you, calm intensity, silent confidence, grounded generosity, and they won't know why. It's because you've become coherence itself. You are no longer explaining truth. You are embodying it. When the storms come, and they will remember the calm is not out there. It's in your core. The more still you remain, the more power you hold. Stillness is not inaction. It's invisible control. Like the center of a hurricane, your peace becomes the axis around which everything turns. Now look at your life. Every struggle that broke you, every risk that frightened you, every delay that tested you, they were all necessary. They were the curriculum. They sculpted your nervous system to handle the vibration of success. Nothing was wasted. Every detour was data. Every loss was alignment training. You are no longer becoming, you are remembering. There is no finish line. There is only evolution, an infinite upward spiral of awareness, wealth, and service. The goal is not to escape humanity, but to master it, to build love, create, and lead as a conscious being who understands their divine mechanics. So as this audiobook closes, don't look for motivation. Look for motion. Don't chase signs, become one. Don't wait for permission. The field is already listening. Every breath is a broadcast. Every thought is a vote. Every heartbeat is a command. The universe is not watching you. It is responding to you. Be deliberate. Be radiant. Be certain. And when you forget, return to silence, breathe, and remember. You are not waiting for power to find you. You are the frequency it's been waiting for. If this audiobook gave you even one moment of clarity, share it with someone who might need the same pause. And subscribe, so next time, calm finds you first.